your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of ATAS across time and space. How you doing over there? It's good to be back. I'm joined with Ace over there from Cross Culture. I'm allowing him to introduce himself, even though I said his name. What are y'all doing over there at Cross Culture at this time?
At this time, yeah. So you already know it's your boy Ace of Cross Culture. Time has been stagnant a little bit, but we're trying to pick it up. We're trying to invest in some things, so hopefully we can get back regular. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that bell icon. I'm much better at doing like pop-up stuff, so I'm thinking about doing a little pop-up thing after the show tonight. Okay. So if you don't mind seeing my face, or maybe we can just chat, do something a little different, a little interesting. But
okay,
all
right, so something's gonna pop off. So things are popping off over there at time at this time, right? Right. He just put up the 007 symbol right there. We're also joined by the comment crew. Let's see who's up there first, because I always give my shout out to that person.
Who's in there?
Oh, it's me. It's your boy Tipsy Pam. Another episode of ATAS across time and space. Yeah,
what episode are we on?
We're on episode 79,000, right?
79,000.
Look, the next one is gonna be 8,000. That's a big number for me. I mean,
yeah.
It's a big number.
You and your eights.
Me and my eights. You know, it's like the eternal number, the infinite number. And it seems like it's been an infinite amount of time that's passed since the last time we got out here in this space. There's a lot of good books that we'd like to recommend to you guys, but also, as always, we're talking about our current book, Disrupting the Game. Someone must have disrupted my game, because my little banner that I usually show for it has it's taking its sweet time getting on screen. All right, reading Disrupting the Game by Reggie Fils-Aimé, former president of Nintendo of America.
Yeah,
we're talking about chapter 11, okay, which is maybe the most, I'd say the most important. Nah. All right. Yeah. Have you listened ahead or read ahead?
Nope.
At all? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So I mean, let's take a step back then. This chapter is short and sweet, but it's also focusing on what it takes for success. Now they had a type of success with this first little system of theirs that was put out there under his leading in the sales department. I want to talk about that system a bit, though. Like your first. Oh, well, let's talk about the history of Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna call it Game Boy because I don't want to get in trouble with Nintendo, like we're talking about.
Game Boy.
Yeah, the history of Game Boy. What has been your experience with handheld systems, and what makes them different, I guess, from consoles for you? Do you spend more time on handhelds? What's been your story as regards to that? Because you started it in the family. You started
yeah, I was a spoiled brat.
In every regard.
Oh dang, you're not supposed to add on to that. Well, I was just playing my Switch before we got on here, and now I'm gonna bring it on screen. I always play my Switch in handheld. Like, I know that my dock is over there somewhere. The HDMI is actually behind the TV, but I never use the thing. So, gaming on the go, or just independent of having to use a TV is huge for me. Started back with the Game Boy DMG, as they call it, the original brick.
That's what y'all call it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it's called. because I guess the designation is DMG dash and then numbers.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so they call it the Game Boy DMG, just like they had the first Xbox, they call it the Xbox VCR. You know, I think VCR just because it's that big. But
yeah. I can see that. So it started there with you. Was that a birthday present? Like what started you out on the journey? Like, were you just born with that in your hands? Because as far as I remember, you had it.
You know what? I can't remember what it was for, but I know that my dad gave it to me. And he gave me one of the hardest games that I've ever played. And I think it's just because of my age. And I've never beaten it. I've still to this day never beaten it. Return of Samus. So Metroid 2 Return of Samus.
Right.
Yeah, they came with the remake just recently, but to this day, I don't think I've beaten a Metroid game at all, actually. Yeah, no, never.
Interesting. For a Game Boy person, like I mean, I know one of my first experiences with Game Boy was that Metroid Prime Hunters, and that's the one that Reggie mentioned in the chapter as well.
For Game Boy?
This is
that's DS.
DS.
Yeah. I'm about to say you started off with the green Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah. Mine. Yeah. Hold on, but was the Pocket screen green though? Because I remember it being gray.
It was the same screen. It was still a dot matrix. They just made everything a little smaller.
But it wasn't.
The form factor was smaller.
It wasn't properly green like yours though. Like that was clearly green. I remember just being like grayscale.
Maybe.
Yeah. Game Boy was it Game Boy Light, right?
No, Game Boy Light is a completely different thing.
Wait, hold on.
Game Boy Light has a backlit screen.
Yes.
Or no, I think a frontlit screen.
Game Boy. Okay.
Yeah, Game Boy Light didn't release in the States though, to my knowledge.
Wait, Game Boy Light didn't. Oh no, hold on. That's what. Game Boy Pocket. That's what I'm thinking.
Pocket, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had a Pocket, and then after the Pocket came out, they made the Game Boy Light, which was the Pocket with the frontlit screen, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. I didn't have that. I don't think I had that. I had Game Boy Pocket, and I had Game Boy Color, and I had Game Boy.
Two colors.
I only had one color, as far as I know.
You had two.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, you definitely had two.
Wait, hold on. Who
had the yellow one? You had the yellow one, and then I joined God.
Yeah.
And then you had the Pokemon edition, which was the yellow front, the black, or the blue in the back, and then it had I think yours wasn't the Pikachu edition; it was a Pokemon edition.
Right.
So it had Pikachu, it had Jigglypuff, and I think a couple other characters on it.
Classic.
Yeah.
But hold on. So you had the DBG. It sounds
DMG.
like a Russian syndicate. All right.
Yeah, the damage, the Game Boy damage,
doing damage. If you throw that thing in somebody's window,
yo, for real? Oh dang, that thing was heavy too.
Yes. But the thing is, like these systems were given to us by the previous generation. You know, I can say previous generation be either by my mother. In your case, it sounds like your dad gave it to you as a game. You know, big ups to the last generation. The
big ups for real.
The latest and the greatest. You know, we're joined by someone in our last generation. She put a government out there, but I'm just going to ask for the permission. I'm not going to just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello. Welcome. I know that someone in that same generation was like, hey, I know you out there in Japan, you got all these high-tech things, and y'all usually get the systems first. Can you send one for my son? You know?
What? Who's this?
This was J10's mom. J10 just had his birthday. Big ups to J10.
Oh, yeah. Big ups to J10.
Right?
Yes.
10 years old now, finally.
Yes, finally J10 proper.
Yeah, exactly.
As we get into 10 minutes of the show.
He's coming into his own, right? That was good on. That's the time element, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like that generation, they made sure they took care of us in terms of these games. Now, my question was though, as regards to handhelds, did you see yourself as a handheld video gamer? At some point, did you switch over? Are you more handheld now than you are console? Because this was a turning point in Nintendo's history as well. When they came, they started, well, within the next couple chapters, but this innovation that they had to the Game Boy was a long time coming.
Oh yeah.
I want to say it was like 15, 20 years before they did anything to the Game Boy. Like to make it substantially different. 2 screens.
Yeah. It had to have been that long. Had to have been that long.
The backwards compatibility changed a bit, right? Up to the DSi.
Because I got I got my DMG. I got my DMG when I was in like 3rd grade. So I was 9.
9 years
the
old.
The DS came out when I was in high school. At least.
Okay, when you were in high school, but nobody knows when you were in high school. That could have been.
So I was 15 in 2001. 15? 2001, I was 15.
Okay, when you're in 2001, that's when the DS came out. Was it? No. My point is that these systems came out at a time where we had this battle in the 90s between Sega, Super Nintendo, and it was like a battle between console games. Yeah, PlayStation entered the fray and just disrupted everything. Saturn starts to fall off. Dreamcast is coming up. Dreamcast is 99. I want to say
Dreamcast is definitely 99. Oh no, I was definitely not 15 in 2001. I don't know what I was thinking.
September 9th, 1999. My boy he is sweepstakes. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, the Black Tiger.
Yeah, the Black Tiger. He got that sweepstakes. It was just like, all right, are we playing game? Because we were playing games like Game Boy. We were still holding on to little Game Boys, playing little Pokemon, whatever, running around. And that's where handheld gaming was. And then you see this shift towards much better, screen
graphical fidelity. Oh, you talking about
fidelity? Yeah, I mean, it was that E3 that Reggie talked about was DS versus PSP, and the PSP had graphics.
Oh yeah, they did.
But so what was it for you? That's why I want to ask you as a subject matter expert. You the SME.
Subject matter expert.
when we talk about handheld games, like I can't imagine someone who would be a better fit for that conversation.
Oh gosh.
Outside myself. So
what's the question now?
So the question was, why were you drawn to continue with handheld gaming by Nintendo when the PSP was out there, or the Nomad was out there, or the Game Gear was out there?
I asked for a Nomad because I was Sega. Yeah, I mean, come on! I already had all the games. Just make them.
Wait, what's
make them mobile?
What's the Nomad? Tell folks what a Nomad is, because
Sega Nomad was basically a handheld Genesis system, where it played Genesis cartridges. So that's like you just take it out of your home console. Let's say you're playing. Oh my goodness! If you're playing Sonic 3,
yes,
and you take out that cartridge. Wait, was it saved to the?
Drop it in.
Was it saved to the cartridge?
It's in the cartridge. Yeah, save file.
Oh, so yeah, you just like take out from your home console, you throw it in your Nomad, and then you continue in your game. That is a crazy concept to think about back in 1996.
Yes.
Like 96 pre 2000s that I can just take this and go. Now we got the PlayStation Portal where you can't leave your house, but
how portable is that? Is it PlayStation Portal or portable?
Portal.
Oh, okay.
Portal.
So it gives you a chance to look into your PlayStation while you're in the house. It's not as portable as you would expect a handheld to be.
It's not as good as cloud gaming with Xbox. I played. Look.
Oh.
I played Xbox on my telephone while I was in the hospital waiting for my son to be born.
As long as you got the green light for that.
I did get the green light. You know, my wife is very gracious.
Yeah,
she's just like, if I call, if I say your name, then you better answer. But you know,
yeah.
So I feel like with Nintendo though, it's been more consistent. So the Nomad it was asked for, it wasn't given to me. My first system ever was actually Nintendo NES. Gave that to a family friend, then got a Sega Dreamcast. Then going forward, I was gifted the DMG,
Genesis, Dreamcast,
Nintendo Genesis, Game Boy DMG.
Game Boy DMG. Oh.
Not the what is it? The Sega
Game Gear.
Game Gear. So not the Game Gear. When all my friends had Game Gears, you know.
Only my grandma had Game Gear. I didn't know nobody else had them.
I have that Game Gear. It's downstairs right now. I have that Game Gear.
You still got the casino game in it?
No. It only had one game in it, and it wasn't. Oh wait, actually, I think it might be the casino game.
That was the only one she played. So,
but I'm looking into completely overhauling it, doing some mods on it to make it
purple.
Of course, got to make it purple. Putting an amp mod into it, putting a better backlit screen, you know, all of that good stuff. But it's gonna take time. But it's just been, Nintendo has been more constant than anybody else when it comes to the game with portable.
Portable handheld games. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, even a little Nintendo, like I don't know, I forgot what they called it, but the online system that you could play Nintendo games on your DSi or 3DS, like that.
Oh.
I forgot what they called it.
It was the eShop, but with the eShop you could download
virtual console games.
Yeah, virtual console. Nintendo, if you're listening, what's going on? What's going on with the virtual console? And come on, you know that people would pay to have GameCube games on the Switch. You know, and we know it's powerful. And well, I don't know.
It to handle a GameCube? Sure. I mean, come on.
Well, I don't know. Because my launch Switch is having trouble loading the games that were made for it now. I mean,
what, like not loading the game, or just not
taking forever to load the game?
Well, I mean, we do need to ask the Switch. That maybe the question for the next banner is asking the Switch how it manages to keep its intensity during success. All right, that's you know, I mean, you got the most successful Nintendo system in history, maybe the Switch. I know the Wii did very well. The Switch is doing extremely well. All right, and it's still doing well. 2017, still got good games coming out. But how do you keep that intensity during success? When you find that, I mean, do you ever find yourself kind of going through the motions? Go out for the jog, not necessarily sweating, but you know, keeping your pace. You're going from point A to B. You're not really pushing it. And if you don't push it, then basically you're not doing anything. I mean, you're not doing anything. Like, you are moving, but you're not getting anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Look. So Reggie was talking about that same thing a few chapters back, and he was asking Nintendo representatives like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to address PlayStation? How are we going to address Sega? How are we going to address the games that are coming out for these systems that are leaps and bounds? You know, how are we going to address Xbox from Microsoft, where, you know, all they did was make games and software, and then they put it in a box and was like, here, take it home.
Yes.
How are you going to address those things? And the answer that was given to him was like, well, we don't really need to keep up with the competition. We make our own experience. It's like, right. It kind of sucks because it feels like Nintendo is always a generation behind when it comes to the console gaming. Like right now, we went from cartridges to CDs, then back to cartridges. Like, Nintendo, what are you doing? Like, we don't have. Oh yeah. I keep saying like I'm beating myself up right now. We don't have 1080p native on the Switch. Like, that's everybody else is on 4K, moving into the possibility of 8K. But when you pick up your handheld Switch, it is not 1080p.
Oh, when we dock it, what's going on there?
Oh, when you dock it, yes, 1080.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing that's hooked up to my TV is my Xbox Series X, and it does 4K native.
So what he's mentioned in this chapter, he mentioned that Nintendo executives saw that as a dead end. Just trying to push the graphics and you know, these super realistic experiences on screen. You know, it looks great, but there's a limit to it. As far as the creativity or the gaming experience, though, like going that different vector that the competition wasn't going, is a way to disrupt the game. Right? So for them, pushing it in that direction was a way to stay ahead, and they did. They opened up the market to people who weren't even playing games. Nintendogs and what was it? Yeah, I mean, the little Metroid Prime demo and all that. This is brand new,
which they hated to give out for free.
Yeah, they didn't want to give that thing away. They didn't want to give it away, but if they hadn't, you know, hey, nobody
could have been a different story.
Yeah. So it's better that, you know, they show what the hardware can do, these brand new experiences, and how fun that is, rather than just, all right, well, let's push it on the graphics, where these Sony, Microsoft, they got money for days. They can just buy power. You can't buy
power.
Yeah. But my point is, though, like, what's the takeaway from that, as far as, you know, practical experience? What can we do to keep that intensity even when we feel successful? You know, there's an excellent podcast out there by Andrew Huberman I was listening to this week, and it's talking about that very same point. To stay, it's talking about dopamine and that neurotransmitter and its relationship with reward. A lot of people thought that dopamine was just, it's what you experience when you get the reward. So you have a drive to get reward, and then once you get it, dopamine comes in flooding in, right? And then it's kind of over after that, right? And then you get another cue, and hopefully, you know, in the search for dopamine and the pursuit of it, you get closer to the thing, and then you finally get a full release of it. Okay, great again. And every time that dopamine receptor kind of gets, either the reward has to get better than it was before, or, you know, what's going to happen is that the dopamine that you receive from it gets a little bit lower, right? To balance out. Your body's always in a state of trying to balance out its stimuluses or whatever release of any chemical, right? So the point of it was, though, is that you should strive for the pursuit of the reward, not so much the reward itself. When you get the reward, you kind of stay relatively in neutral, just like, all right, you know, I'm experiencing this right now. I know there's going to be a down afterwards. Like, for example, you strive to succeed at a test, some kind of test, you know, and once you pass the test, all right, so why do you know, are you going to continue to study after that? Maybe not, you know, because I already passed the test. So what's the point of doing that thing anymore? You know, if
I
it's the
see.
same exact test again, would you take it again? What for? You know?
There's no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you get addicted to the pursuit of that thing, then you can apply it in other places. You know, not necessarily the that specific reward, but the studying, that feeling like, oh, this is a challenge, this is tough, but I know something good is going to come out after it, right?
Mhm.
So when you're jogging or you have some kind of fitness goal and you say, all right, I'm trying to reach this goal and I got a very short amount of time to do it, then you have to raise the intensity to get there. But if you're doing it every day, you're just getting your 10,000, you're going to hit 300,000 if you just do it every day. So, it's kind of trotting along, then maybe you don't end up sweating. And if you don't sweat, then you're not gaining muscle. My question is, how do you stay intense? How do you stay sweaty? How do you stay hungry if you're doing the right thing basically every day? Like, you could just find yourself going through the motions otherwise. Where do you find the intensity, I guess, at work?
Well, at work, there's always a different puzzle. So client comes in and the reason that they come in plays a part in the puzzle. The success that they want to get out of the program plays a part in the puzzle. So it's always something different. And some cases are harder than others, where it's just like, oh, boom, this is a simple solution. It's done. But some are not as easy as that, and they stay with you and they stay with you and they stay with you, and it's just difficult. But when you finally find success with those ones, and that doesn't even give you that dopamine, that satiated feeling. It's when a client is like the one leper out of 10 that comes back and says, thank you. I appreciate what you did for me. Or, hey, because I was in your program, now I'm this successful. I have these things now, and I'm moving forward, and I'm looking into doing more, and that's what makes the difference. So looking for that one person out of 10,
right,
or that one person out of 100, that's what keeps me going.
Do you encourage them, or like not remind them, but try to curry in favor, but
hey, make sure you say thank you at that.
Hey, you can call me anytime. Just let me know how things are going at the end. Because just because I'm your case manager right now doesn't mean that I'm not here to support you in the future. And we are here to support you, kind of thing. Do you give them like a little reminder that it's okay to check in from time to time afterwards?
No, because technically it's not.
But
what I'll do, it's not okay because of the parameters of the program. You're not really supposed to be. I mean, there's clients that receive other services and they happen to see me, and then they're like, hey, I remember you. And
okay.
But it's kind of our job to get them out of our program, because our program isn't the best place to be. It's supposed to be a stop. It's supposed to be a season, not a lifetime thing. So we try to get them, hey, there's these other services, there's these other things that you can get into. And those ones, some of those set them up for life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is time an element to it? Like how much time is spent on each call, or how long a person has been in the program? Like, I know there's no incentive, but sometimes if we impose our own kind of thing to say, all right, I'm going to get this guy figured out and on his way in X amount of minutes so I can get to the next person, help them out as well. Like just maximizing the time that was spent. Because that's what it all comes down to over here on cross culture as well.
It's time. Yes,
exactly.
It's supposed to be from the time that they have their intake appointment, 30 days out, they're supposed to be resolved.
There it is. Yeah. And is there a metric, like all right, I get an average of 21 days. Within 21 days, these people are bam, bam, bam.
Not really. It just never really works out within that period.
It doesn't unless work out within 30
unless they're on it from before they get into the program. So it just gets to be a little difficult, but it's not to say that it's impossible. I've had anywhere from same day as intake being resolved.
There you go.
I've had 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I've had months. I've had a year. And then you have some that just kind of leave.
They don't
decide this isn't for me, or I'm gonna move somewhere else, or I'm gonna go get services somewhere else. Okay.
Okay. So I mean, that's good. Sometimes it does work out quickly. Sometimes it doesn't. You got to be cool with that and understand that. I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it must feel real good when it's just like a slam dunk when they just come in and pop, pop, pop. Wow. I just want to ask this one last question before we get into that as well. And one of our listeners is saying that her grandson is singing the Mario song. I love that. Right? Because the Mario song, like when you're going through the motions of that first stage and you're trying to finish it up within a certain amount of time, like the music is playing in just such a way that the experience is kind of shaped by that as well. And there's definitely something to that. What I wanted to ask, not just about the music that shapes the experience, but literature that could shape the experience.
Okay.
Reggie mentioned The Innovator's Dilemma, right? Where he and Satoru Iwata had to push that to other executives within the company to get their minds in the same boat as far as, all right, we're going to, make our strategy more around innovation than trying to push the hardware so much, even though that's the direction that the industry was going. He said, all right, let's go with, The Innovator's Dilemma. Didn't catch the author's name, but that's okay. Look him up. It's on Google. Or look us up on Everand, all right? Down there in the description.
Everand, yes.
Down there in the description. 2 months for free. If you use
no longer Scribd. It's Everand. They changed it on us.
Well, Scribd is still out there for something.
But for your audio books and your not so audio books, it's Everand now. Scribd is now something a little different. They kind of took what it was and split it into two.
Yeah.
So Everand is books, and looks like Scribd is everything else that was on there. So music, PDFs that are uploaded, things like that are going to be on Scribd.
Scribd. Yeah.
But I think that if you subscribe to one, you get both. So it's still the same.
In fact, in the States, you get 3 things, but I forgot what the third thing is and I don't use it. All right. As far as Everand,
it's a graph thing. I can't remember what it is.
I don't even know. But my question is there any book that you would recommend that you can think of right now? This could be right now, or this could be for homework for next week, but something that you would recommend your clients read to get where they are in life sorted out and figured out, put some perspective on things and help them go forward. Do you ever recommend something that has helped you, or that you heard from others that, a rich dad, poor dad type thing, or I don't know. I don't want to put the words in your head, but yeah, is there anything that you would recommend that they read besides the Holy Scriptures? To get their life sorted out economically.
To get their life sorted out, I would have to come back to that one, because there's a whole lot out there. But as far as a good read that can shape your perspective a little bit.
That helped you? Yeah.
The Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby. Who? Fitzgerald? What was that?
Yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
F. Scott. Yeah, I forgot the F stand for it, but it's in there. Why?
F. Scott Fitzgerald. And the reason being that you have this one character who, by all accounts, he should be happy, yet is longing for something else. And you have a lot of intrigue and a lot of these different relationships that are forming and getting broken, and but following along, you start to see what really matters.
Okay.
So,
and he starts pursuing that thing that really matters.
That really matters. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's where the intensity comes from, because he's got all the creature comforts, but what we find is that those creature comforts is kind of like being in an opioid state.
Altered state. Yeah.
No, an opioid state where it's just like, all right, I got this. I'm fine. I'm chilling. I'm relaxed. You're not really searching after the thing. It's like kind of sitting there watching TV.
In the comfort zone.
Happy. You're in the comfort zone. I'm listening to ATAS. But I'm not moving through time and space. I'm moving, but I'm not moving in my own volition.
Just not living, just existing.
Right. But I mean, the flip side of that is that you in this dopamine searching state in the pursuit of happiness, right? That's the only thing that's one of the few things that's guaranteed by our Constitution, for good reason. The pursuit of happiness. You're not guaranteed that you're going to get it, but you can pursue it freely.
Any way that you want to. Yeah.
Yes. As long as you don't infringe on someone else's rights, go for it. Full speed.
Yeah.
Like that's the I mean, if you find happiness in the pursuit, then you can be happy until the day that you die.
Yeah.
Right? So, sometimes it makes a whole lot of sense to get yourself a pen, a pad, and write it down. Yeah. What do you want to pursue? When you leave out the door to go somewhere, do you decide where you're going to want to go? From point A to B, do you need to know where B is? If you say the B is the grocery store, then you're going to take the best possible route to get to the grocery store. If you haven't decided where you want to go, then you could take every road for the rest of your life, and eventually you're going to arrive at the grocery store, but you're going to waste a whole lot of time. If you consider that a waste of time, you can just be like a random type person. But if you need to eat, you need to eat.
If you need to eat,
you can walk around to every road in the world, or you know what? I'm going to go to the grocery store and decide, folks, what it is that you really want, and then go and pursue it. Right?
Be intentional.
Yeah. Raise the intensity. Be intentional. That's all I got to say. It's your boy, man, telling you that's what it is. Ace, hit him off, man.
Yeah, you already know it's your boy, Ace of Cross Culture. That's what time is all about. Taking intentional moments every day. All right. Just take that time to be intentional. Don't let things happen by coincidence. Control your life because you can. Until next time, stay prayed up. Be blessed.
All right. Folks, write that blessing down there in the comment section. Write your blessing, and write what you're searching for. All right. If you're searching for a win in the sweepstakes, make sure you hit that comment section right now.
Oh yes, definitely. Hit down below in the actual comments, not the live.
Not the live comments. I don't know how to do that. Ask us. Okay, ask us after the show. All right.
Or Google it.
Google it. All right.
Google is your friend.
We'll see you on episode 80 over there in Cross Culture. You know what it is. Peace.